Hey guys, it's Karin. Welcome to LittleArtTalks. To celebrate Valentine's this month, I'm going to be sharing some of the greatest partnerships of art history. Of course, I will be sharing the sweet and passionate love stories, the drama, the affairs, but also what it was like to be an artist, partners, and also collaborators in some cases. What kind of art did they make and how did their partners influence their work? So if you're interested in these videos, be sure to subscribe to LittleArtTalks for new videos every Monday. This video will be all about Marina Abramović and Ulay. Most of you will probably recognize the two from Abramović's 2010 performance in the Museum of Modern Art in New York, The Artist is Present. This was a performance in which Abramović sat in a chair for 8 hours a day and invited visitors to sit across from her. In between each sitter, she would look down, close her eyes, and gather her energy for the next person. When she looked up and saw that Ulay had unexpectedly taken a seat, she began to cry and broke her own rule of the performance by reaching out to hold his hands. This emotional moment, caught on video, was viewed by millions on YouTube. We get the sense that this was the reunion of long-lost lovers. We're led to wonder, what was their relationship? What were they feeling or thinking? While this relationship was one full of mysticism and attraction and energy, it's also one where two strong egos come head to head, and their collaboration often dealt with what it meant for these two to come together. The two met when Marina traveled to Amsterdam in 1976. She arrived on her birthday, and fate would have it the very first person she meets is Ulay. And guess what? He has the same birthday. That's amazing. The two very quickly became lovers and collaborators. They are both performance artists, and their work together often explored the limits of physical and psychic endurance, and I do mean endurance, as well as gender roles. The two made some of the most iconic and influential works of performance arts during this time, many of which are now literally written into art history books. Abramović has even been dubbed the grandmother of performance art for her innovation in this genre. They formed a collective being that they called the Other. They dressed the same, behaved the same. They formed a relationship of complete trust, describing themselves as parts of a two-headed body. In breathing in, breathing out, they explored extreme states of consciousness. The two took in and exhaled each other's breath, not breathing any external oxygen until they used up all of the available oxygen and passed out 17 minutes into the performance. The two depended on each other, literally desperately trying to stay conscious despite the inevitability of running out of air. When they both pass out, metaphorically, they deal with the death of self, which is always at stake in a collaborative work. They share this life force that unites the two, they share it, absorb it, but ultimately it is what destroys them. In rest energy, they balance each other on the opposite ends of a drawn bow and arrow, with the arrow pointed at Abramović's heart. Abramović is forced to surrender total control to Ulay. Microphones are placed to pick up their quickening heartbeats and irregular breathing. After 4 minutes, they drop the bow. After years of a tense relationship, they decided to mark the end of their partnership with a spiritual journey. The piece, called the Great Wall Walk, involved the two walking across sections of the Great Wall of China. They started at opposite ends, and after 90 days of walking 2,500 kilometers, they met in the middle to say their farewells. It took them 8 years to gain permission from the Chinese government to perform this work, and by the time they were able to perform it, their relationship had completely dissolved. It was a romantic ending to the relationship, but also a reminder of how no matter what they did, in the end, they did it alone. On this phase of her career, Abramović said, "The main problem in this relationship was what to do with the two artists' ego. I had to find out how to put my ego down, as did he, to create something like a hermaphroditic state of being that we called the deaf self." I wish I could say that we're ending here on this dramatic but kind of romantic note, but unfortunately there's more. The two have since continued their work on their own, but Abramović had garnered much more attention worldwide thanks to a 2010 retrospective at MoMA, a major HBO documentary, celebrity friends like Jay-Z and Lady Gaga, and even a line of Adidas commercials. In 1999, they drew up a contract to manage their joint works. Ulay sold his physical archive, including negatives and transparencies, to Marina, and according to the contract, they could be used to reproduce saleable work with 20% of the profit going to Ulay. She agreed to tell him about any reproductions or sales of their work. Here's where it gets a little sad. In 2015, Ulay sues Abramović, claiming that she had violated their 1999 contract. He alleged that she had withheld money from him and failed to give him proper credit for their joint legacy. While their works regularly sell for 5 or 6 figures, he had been paid only 4 times and received a total of 31,000 euros. The Court of Amsterdam found that Ulay was entitled to the royalties as stated in their original contract and ordered Abramović to pay Ulay over 250,000 euros. In addition, she was to credit joint works as Ulay Abramović for works created from 1976 to 1980 and Abramović Ulay for those from 1981 to 1988. In an interview, he said, "She is not just a former business partner. The whole oeuvre had made history. It's now in history books. But she has deliberately misinterpreted things or left my name out." So kind of a sad and dramatic ending for such an iconic couple or ex-couple of the art world. Hopefully everything gets sorted out and everyone gets their proper credit. Their collaborative series worked because of their joint efforts. Their equality and balance were what made these works full of energy and tension. I hope you guys enjoyed this video on the relationship and collaboration of Marina Abramović and Ulay. Special thanks to our lovely patrons on Patreon who keep this channel going. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it and you want to help us keep making great, fresh, new content, please check us out on patreon.com/LittleArtTalks to make a monthly pledge or a one-time donation. Also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more Valentine's February art and love stories. I should probably think of a better title for those videos, but they're going to be published every Monday, so be sure to come back for more. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.